2011 Chevy Impala with the 3.5 V6 engine. Today we're going to be replacing the water pump. Let's get to it. First step for accessing the water pump, we're going to go ahead and try to get rid of some of these wires and things in the way. Start by removing the BCM by removing these two 12mm nuts. I don't think we're going to need to disconnect the BCM, as long as we can get it out of the way a little bit. Next, let's go ahead and get our support brace out of the way so we can get to our battery. These are held in by 13mm bolts. And underneath of our support brace we have these clips holding our wiring harness in. Go ahead and just pull those out straight and they'll pop right out. From there, we'll go ahead and start unbolting the battery. $10mm nuts for the positive and negative battery terminal. And then deep down here, on the inside of the battery, we have the bracket that holds the battery in place. That is a 13mm. Remove the bolt and your little battery chalk. Put those aside. Let's see if we can squeeze our battery out of here. Remove our brace. Remove our little engine cover so that I can have a better view of this harness. I'm going to go ahead and remove this clip right here. Grab yourself a pair of needle noses. Just gently ply up on that. And then the one right here. And we'll be able to fold that harness over our coolant cap, which will help keep the harness out of the way. With the harnesses pushed out of the way, we now have access to our water pump. There's going to be this pulley right here. Next, we're going to remove the 8mm bolt holding this bracket together so we can get this power steering line out of the way. Try to tuck this power steering line back there a little bit. Next, we can remove the 13mm holding that bracket to the engine block. Go ahead and remove that bracket with the bolt with it. Just easier to keep everything together. And with full access to the water pump, we can now go ahead and break these bolts loose. You want to make sure you do this before you remove the drive belt, or else it can be pretty difficult because this thing's just going to want to turn. And with all 4 of the bolts broken loose, we can now put our attachment on the tensioner in the rear and remove the drive belt from the water pump. And with those 4 bolts broken loose, we're going to go ahead and remove our overflow tank so we have access to our tensioner by removing the 2 10mm nuts right here. And then lifting up on the overflow tank and lifting it out of the way. Our tensioner is located straight down right here. And as you can see, there's a small square where you can put a 3/8 ratchet. We're going to go ahead and remove a drive belt removal tool for this so we have extra leverage. And once you're attached, you're going to pry up on it like you're trying to tighten it. And then we can slide the pulley right off of the water pump and out of the way. And I'm just taking it off of the water pump so that way the water pump is freed. With the water pump freed, we can go ahead and remove the pulley bolts, removing one at a time, and then rotating the pulley so that it's facing upwards. And with all 4 bolts removed, we can reach down here and pull off the pulley. And now we have access to the water pump bolts. At this time, go ahead and get yourself a catch can and place it directly underneath the water pump. The water pump bolts are 13mm. Remove each one at a time and place them somewhere safe. I'm just going to come in here and break the rest of them free. And with all 5 bolts removed, we should be able to remove the water pump now. Give it a little bit of a wiggle. You might need to tap it with a hammer. Looks like we need to tap ours with a hammer. And there you have your water pump. Before doing anything else, you want to make sure that you get this gasket out of here and have your new one in place before you install your new water pump. I might need to use a pick. There we go. There's our old gasket. Make sure you replace this. When you've got your new water pump and gasket, make sure you take the time to make sure that they're lined up properly. And I usually take 2 bolts to keep the gasket lined up with the new water pump, like that. And then I install, and then I start both of the bolts by hand. Once you get that first one started, go ahead and install the other 4 just by starting each one by hand. Do not put any of them down until you have all 5 of them started. With all 5 put down, and come back in starting from the bottom. And we're going to put them down tight in a crisscross pattern. So if we started at the bottom, we'll call that the bottom left, top right. Come down to the bottom right. All the way to the top. Center, I guess. And the last one, the top left. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Go ahead and put everything else back together in reverse order that we took it apart from. And this video helped you out, leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And we'll see you next time.